This is a Renew original recording. Hello and welcome to Believe in People, a two-time Radio Academy Award nominated and British Podcast award-winning series about all things addiction, recovery and stigma. My name is Matthew Butler and I'm your host, or as I like to say, your facilitator. Today I'm with Taz, a British-born Pakistani Muslim whose life takes us deep into the questions of identity, culture, faith, addiction and recovery. Taz grew up in the north of England during the 80s, a time when racism was open, violent and shaping. Caught between two worlds, he was raised in a Pakistani Muslim home while trying to belong in a predominantly white Britain. That conflict of identity would follow him into adulthood through anger, addiction and prison. In this episode we talk about what it really means to grow up between cultures, the difference between religion and culture, and how those lines are so often blurred, especially around topics like arranged marriage and expectation. Taz opens up about the harm of confusion, intergenerational trauma, the power of forgiveness and the process of rebuilding through faith and recovery. We begin our conversation today by talking about belonging.
It was extremely difficult. A lot of racism back in the day. I mean, it was horrendous, to be honest with you. And it was confusing at the best of times. And obviously there were other issues going on with myself and my family background and whatnot. But growing up when there was NF about and punks and whatnot, and growing up in, the late 70s and early 80s, extremely difficult. Extremely difficult.
What kind of environment did you grow up in? In terms of the family, school, the neighbourhood, what was that like?
So the neighbourhood was just a normal neighbourhood. The family environment, I come from a single parent. My father, may God rest his soul, had divorced, and he was a single parent. He was a working man. We hardly ever saw him, and for the first 10 odd years of my childhood, my grandmother was taking care of me. He went out with someone, a lovely lady called Mary, Irish lady. She brought us up for a little while. And so it was kind of, to be honest with you, when I look back at it and I can visualize it, it was almost surreal, to be honest with you. At that particular moment in time, I didn't know what to make of it. I knew what not to do and who to avoid and where not to go, kind of thing. But we had our own little area, very small Asian community, maybe a couple of streets, and that was it. And we kind of kept to ourselves. And every now and again, we were told to go in. A crowd has come along, and they go around smashing windows. So as a child, it was frightening.
Did you know when that was happening as a child why it was happening? Did you know what it was because? Okay,
of course, yeah,
so What sort of age do you start to become aware of that and learn about that?
To be honest with you, it was from the day go, as far as I can remember. We knew to avoid. And I do not like using the colours. We avoid white people. Yeah. That's how it was. Yeah. Avoid them, they're off their heads kind of thing, and they're dangerous. And so I grew up in that environment. Right across us was, a fire brigade. And every year they did events, like a community event. And I walked in there one day, and where they have the big water tubs and whatnot, I was thrown in there and I almost drowned. And it
was that by other kids?
No, it was by the white lads and in a group because they thought it was funny, kind of thing. And I never went near that place again.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you won't forget that, do you?
Never.
That'll always stick with you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
it sounds like you're growing up there in almost two different worlds. It's okay saying avoid the white people, but you're growing up in a predominantly at the time, especially, a white country. How did that work for you in terms of being seen and being understood in both of these worlds?
To be honest with you, it took a long while. It was only until I got to high school where I kind of started looking around and thinking, this is not right. You know what I mean? And I'm going to make a stance. I almost rebelled against it. And, I kind of stood up for myself. Violence kind of took over. Yeah. That's how it was. It was a case of us against them. Yeah. And for years, I had this concept of, that it is, they're the enemy kind of thing. And looking back at it now, kind of thing, would I have done it differently, or had my thought process be different? I don't think so, because I wasn't unaware, I wasn't developed as a person, I was still finding my way. I was talking about this earlier, at a very, very early age, we were, it was a very confusing time for us, and it was like, almost, like, who are we? What do we stand for? We've got our fathers and forefathers came into this country in the 50s and 60s, and they drummed this ethos, that we have to, kind of work and stick to our religion. But it wasn't as simple as that. We were out on the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when we were looking around, they were set in a certain way, but we are my culture is not Pakistani. My culture is English.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah,
because you are. I guess this is what's really interesting, because I always say this, in terms of I've talked about, like, in terms of myself, am I a product of my parents, or am I a product of my environment and my friends? And I always say I feel like I'm more a product of my friends and that environment than I was the environment that I necessarily grew up in. And I suppose for you, obviously, with this home life being, Pakistani culture, but your peers and the people you're growing up around and the cultures you're sort of mingling in are going to be British. So that must be, like, really confusing, I think, as a teenager, when your peers can do things that maybe you're not allowed to do, that your parents may frown upon, and you do things that your friends may think, why is he doing that, sort of thing. It must be really confusing.
Extremely confusing. But the thing is, I kind of broke the mold, whereas the traditional Pakistani lad would stick to his own kind. My best friend was called Lee Langford. And we had an 18th do, and I was really close with the family. Even growing up, I was kind of I don't know whether it's the right thing to say. I was kind of attracted to the other side, kind of thing. Yeah. So I never kind of, I quickly got over it, and my mind was open, and my heart was open from the day get go. So right across there was a young lad, I forget his name now, and his mum, she brought me, a train set. We used to play together, and David, I can't remember. So I kind of moved away from the traditional Asians and whatnot, and because I couldn't see any different. I couldn't see, and I got warmth.
Yeah,
I got warmth from that.
Can you remember, like, the first time, obviously growing up with like, stay away from the white people, and can you remember your sort of first interactions, or your first positive interactions with say a white person, that kind of really changed your outlook and made you question kind of what it is that your parents and your family was telling you?
Of course, yeah. Teachers.
Yeah.
It was the teachers, And again, I must admit that some of the teachers I'm talking about primary school here, but moving forward, I don't know, to be honest with you. It was, I knew what we were told was kind of, stay away, but it didn't sink in. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because I think sometimes if someone is dangerous or not. You have that instinct.
Yes, of course you do.
It's quite easy. You say about some of the teachers and even some of the friends that you made. You can tell if someone has malicious intent or not.
100%.
Not always, but I think for the most part.
Yeah, it's a gut feeling.
It is. You got that gut feeling. And I imagine that starts to make you question things. And I think looking at, as you got older, in terms of like finding your identity, you mentioned the teachers, you mentioned a couple of friends, but who were the people or influences that shaped you during those teenage years?
I think, to be honest with you, I was a bit of a... Because, so we have to go back to my childhood and how I was brought up, kind of thing, and being confused, abandonment issues, the mother not being there, looking for an answer, kind of thing. There's got to be something out there that's better than what's going on right now in my life, kind of thing. And I just kind of plodded along, to be honest with you. And it was almost, wow, you know what? It was almost, I was kind of directed. On a spiritual level. I did not understand that at the time. I was guided towards people, but not colour or creed. I was guided and moulded and put in positions and for me, at a really early age, I got over it. But at the same time, I was still connected to the Asian community, and it was us against them. So I was battling that aspect as well. In my teenage years, I was in a gang kind of thing, and and then it was mixed. It was a mixed gang kind of thing. So it was, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. At high school, I was bullied a lot. I was called B.A. Baracus because I was the only Asian guy there, kind of thing, and I kind of took it. First year, second year, third year, and then something happened. I snapped.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? No, bollocks to this. Excuse my language, kind of thing.
No, don't worry.
Yeah, and I started fighting back, and I fought. Then I fought because of what was going on, and God rest his soul. For whatever reasons, I was brought up very, very harshly, and he was battling through his own struggles. And he had one foot in this country, and he had one foot in back home where he came from. So he was supporting, two massive families, and so it was extremely difficult for him. I do understand he could not regulate his emotions. The only way he could regulate his emotion was through anger, and I was subjected to that anger. And because I did not know how to regulate my emotions, I didn't know how to cry. Yeah. He took that as as being rebellious or arrogant, if you want to use that word. And I was subjected to that physical violence on a horrendous level.
And how long did that go on for?
This went on to my until I was the teenage years, up until the end of teenage years. Just continued. And I was in conflict with myself. I rebelled against him. I almost at one point I hated him. I absolutely hated him. But my culture and my religion is telling me, no, this is wrong. No matter what your father says, your parents says, you keep your head down, you take it on the chin. So this was that internal battle that was going on within me, kind of thing. So, and that kind of drove me into the madness, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It was almost kind of, wow. Looking back at it now, it was kind of almost, like a destructive, I was on a path of destruction. It was almost like, okay, you know what? Is that how it is? Fuck everyone. Yeah. I don't give a shit. Yeah. And I turned into this, and it grew. This hatred and this resentment and this nastiness inside me just grew and grew. And at one point, I wasn't bothered if I lived or not. And I was known as this crazy person. I was known as, I'll keep away from him. For me, I was already dead. I just didn't give a shit. I genuinely did not care. I didn't care whether I lived or died. If you crossed my path and you looked at me in a funny way, you was getting put down one way or the other. And you know what? I don't know how I got here, to be honest with you. I don't know how I'm sat here talking to you.
No, because there's a lot of things to unpick there, and I think I'm almost metaphorically picturing like an elastic band. There's so much pull to them, but you pull them so far, they are going to snap. And I think based on what you were subjected to by your dad as a child, I think looking at you as the elastic band, of course you're going to snap. And then because you have this culture of respect your elders, respect your father, it's like this anger now, where do you channel it to? Well, exactly. It's going to be misplaced. It's not going to be at the person who is making you angry. It's going to come out at school to your peers. It's going to come out to society. And you're going to almost internalise it as well to the point of self-destruction, which sounds like that's what was happening. So you mentioned then about being known as someone, with alcohol problems. When was you first introduced to alcohol? Because as far like I have a Muslim family myself, and for as long as I've known, alcohol is what they'd say haram. Haram, yeah. So it's
and drugs, Do
you know what I mean? So for you, obviously, to go and use substances like alcohol, again, when culturally it's a massive no. How did that happen? When was you first introduced to it, and what attracted you to it?
So The first time I ever used alcohol was when I was 17. I can't particularly remember a moment of drinking, and somebody offered me a pint of lager, which I found disgusting, to be honest with you. It was horrible. Yeah. And then someone offered me spirits, and that kind of did the job for me, to be honest with you. My 18th birthday, I was bladdered, you know what I mean? And Teresa, a lovely lady, her son, Lee Langford, they actually booked a pub out, a room in the pub, and, you know, I was quite close to them, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I kind of morphed into this Western young lad, still with massive identity issues and whatnot. And I kind of broke away from that cultural side, but I still had to go home.
That's it as well. And I think, you know, alcohol especially, you know, if in your own culture it is, you know, haram, then you are going to be more, as you said, be more attracted to this opposite culture based on not just what it's offering, but how it's making you feel. And everyone that takes alcohol, especially at the beginning, it makes them feel good.
I must stress one thing, though. I mean, my elders, they were in the freaking pub.
Oh, was they?
They were in the pub.
Yeah.
They were in the pub.
Nice.
They were in the pub, so we were told one thing.
Yeah.
They were doing another.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do, sort of thing.
Do you know what I mean? And so I thought, what's going on here? So I thought, you know what I mean? So again, it was extremely confusing.
Yeah, it's just going to add to that more identity crisis, isn't it? What can I do? What am I not allowed to do?
Yeah. So I don't know, at some point, I just kind of switched off. I got kind of switched off from, you know, but inherently deep down, I knew what was right and what was wrong. I had that sense of, what's the word I'm looking for now? Consciousness, you know what I mean? You know, I can't do this. But at some point, I snapped, I switched, you know, and I became this character. And as people would talk about me, I would feed off that, and it morphed into something, you know, almost a monster, the part that I had to play, kind of thing. And this went on for quite a long time, actually.
Well, I think, from what I'm getting from your story so far, you know, you're this little kid who was thrown in the water.
Yeah.
He was, you know, bullied, and there must be something internally that you know, whatever age you're at, is growing up to think, I am never going to be that kid who's going to get thrown in that water again.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in that position now to... It's almost like you're protecting your inner child almost by
and I've been
adding this layer to it of this, you know, really, you know,
100%,
tough guy personality.
Yes, absolutely bang on. Hit the nail on the head, and I've been doing it for decades. It's only recently I was involved in a group therapy called Deep, which is based in Blackburn, and they unravelled me. And they got to that inner child. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was extremely emotional.
I can imagine.
Extremely emotional. I at one point, a good friend of mine now, James is called, he says, can you see yourself as that child? And what would you like to say to him? And
I hate it when people ask things like that.
You know what? I just broke down.
Yeah.
I broke down. I'm getting emotional.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just thinking about it, kind of thing. But that was the key. I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed to see that. I visualized it. I visualized myself at that age being bullied, coming home and being battered. I mean, I do not want to get into detail. I mean, black and blue. You know what I mean? And he said to me, "What would you say to that child now?" Wow. You know what? I'd hug that child and say, you know what, it's going to be okay. You know, and I still feel it. Yeah. And it's power, and that's never going to go away from me.
No, I don't.
Never.
No, it won't.
It's gonna stay. That's gonna stay. But the thing is with that, that's my power.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
That's my power.
Yeah. Doing it for the inner child.
And no one's gonna take that away from me. No one. This is why I do what I do. This is why I go above and beyond now. This is why I'll never judge anyone. This is why I will listen to anyone and anything, and not be judgmental, and not have that thing. You know what I mean? And you know, because I went through it.
I think as well when we look at these things, you know, I mean, this uncovering of this kind of sounds like, you know, this emotional unraveling sounds like almost like a recent thing, and I think we behave in our
it is.
What I mean. We behave in our teenage years, we behave in our 20s, and even beyond there.
Yeah,
kind of just not necessarily knowing why we're behaving the way we are behaving, but there is that deep-rooted reason for it, much like yourself. But sometimes, like, I mean, I've been listening to you for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour now. I'm piecing the dots together already.
Yeah.
But it's probably taken you 40 or plus years, do you know, to do that. Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
It's real easy to kind of see it in others, but not necessarily see it in ourselves.
No.
I mean, you spoke about gang culture and, you know, joining gangs. Tell me a little bit about that. What was that like? In the era that you was growing up in.
So in the 80s, glue sniffing.
Okay,
yeah. That was a thing, and what a freaking buzz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hallucinations a lot, you know what I mean? And the gas and the glue sniffing, and I went through it all. So the gangs was, you know, it's us against them. You protect the area no matter what happens. We were living.
So was it an Asian gang that you was part of?
Yeah, but the thing is that whites were in it as well.
A couple of
whites
because
were
then
in
it becomes about the neighbourhood and the area,
yes,
and not necessarily just about 100%. The culture. Yeah,
so
I get that,
our area was the ghetto. I mean, you know, you look at ghettos and watch TV and whatnot, like in America or even here, it was the original ghetto. You know what I mean? No one came in. We weren't allowed to go to certain areas. It's only up until recently, in the last 10, 15 years, that I've actually gone. Blackburn was very, very segregated. It was, you know, you just did not go there. You only went up there to get your head kicked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you was looking for a fight, that's where you
went. And a lot of the times, we'd come to the borders. They'd have, you know, 10, 15 people on that side, 10, 15 people on this side. And all we did ever was, if we ever caught one of them, he's getting leathered. And vice versa. And a lot of the times, that's all that happened. It was never a case of full gang fights kind of thing. If we caught one of them, he was getting battered. And vice versa. And I have been battered a few times, to be honest, because I've been on the wrong side of the fence. So, So, you know what? Honestly, it was exciting at the same time.
That's it. It's the adrenaline rush, isn't it? Because you know,
I loved it.
You know you're pushing the boundaries, don't you? Do you know what I mean? I get that completely.
Yeah.
Obviously, you talk about the glue sniffing, talk about the introduction to alcohol. Do you know, I think there's the obvious for me that we're trying to escape things emotionally there that you're experiencing as a child. But what was it like to kind of take control of how you felt? And I say that loosely in terms of taking control by using substances.
There was no control.
No.
Did
you feel like you was taking control, or did you know that what you was kind of putting yourself in that position?
All it did was put me in a dream state.
Yeah.
For a short little while.
Yeah.
And reality kicked in.
The escapism of it.
The escapism. I had to go back home. But as time went on, that reality, that escapism turned into reality. It kind of, you know, like it was almost like, have you seen Matrix? With the dream state and what's real and not. It was almost like that. That became reality for me, and everything else was like, oh, what's this? This is real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is not real. Although that was life and that was reality kind of thing. And I kind of, I accepted it, and I kind of tried to figure a way out kind of how to navigate myself being in this state kind of thing. It was just... it's madness.
When did it start to spiral into an addiction then? So for people to refer to you as an alkie, you're obviously not someone who just enjoys a drink on a Friday night. People are obviously seen you drinking a lot for them to refer to you as as an alkie.
Yeah, I think the addiction started with, it led up to pills, from pills to cannabis, from cannabis, it was heroin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was heroin.
Yeah.
When heroin gripped me, and it was actually quite later on in my life. I know a lot of stories and what I do now kind of thing. A lot of people started heroin at a very early age. For me, it was the other way around.
How old was you?
I think I was in the late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, 27, 28. And I was introduced to it, and again, whatever you do, take all the drugs under the sun, do not go anywhere near heroin. Crack wasn't even on the scene, or I didn't know anything about it. But somebody introduced heroin to me. And I remember the first time I put it in a spliff. And I got this sense of warmth, and the whole world just shut off. And I was the only person on the planet. And that felt good.
Yeah.
That felt, wow, what is this? And that's one of my first memories of heroin. It was like, whoa, this is something else. And then from making it into a spliff, went into on a foil, and that's when my addiction started. And I didn't know what a rattle was.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I always find that the interesting part when people think, oh, I'm not very well. And it's like, no, you're rattling your tits off. Do you know, if you take more heroin, you'll feel better.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I, for the record, like I always say when people go, oh, I don't understand it. Like when people describe taking heroin for the first time and how that feels, I often think, well, of course that becomes an addiction. Yeah. There's no way you take that once and have that feeling and think, right.
No way.
As great as that was, I'm never doing that again.
No.
I completely understand how it quickly
Yeah.
spirals out, but because and often it can be, like you said, not knowing what a rattle is. There is that lack of education of where it can lead to. There's the lack of education on the physical dependency that it's going to have on you. And if you kind of do like a bit of a cost-benefit analysis in your own head, it almost seems worth it in some way just to feel the way you've just described.
100%.
Yeah.
From my childhood to where I was when I first took heroin, I take heroin all day long because the world didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
This was a beautiful place I wanted to be in. Not understanding and realizing the addiction that had to come with it and the pain that had to come with it. And yeah, it was... Whew.
So not knowing about a rattle then.
So
What was that like then when you had the first rattle? What was you thinking?
So and I started falling ill, and I thought, what is wrong with me? I couldn't sleep. My throat was dry, and you know what I mean. I thought it's a common cold. I'll get over it. I've got a cold today, by the way, and then I told someone. He says, "You know what's happening, don't you?" I went, "What?" He says, "You're rattling." Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was it. When they said you're rattling and the only thing that's going to make you feel better is another few lines, that was it. That kind of sealed my fate. It sealed it.
Yeah, I always say this. I mean, there's something that was, the way it was described to me before, they said to me, Matt, have you ever had the flu? I went, yeah, I had it, years ago. Said, the vomiting, the diarrhea, the stomach cramps, the sweat. And he said, imagine if someone came to you and said, just take this now and you're going to feel better. Would you have done it? And I went, yeah, thinking about how bad it was, of course I would have.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what comes into it, because obviously we talk about an opiate rattle. It's horrendous.
Horrendous.
But it's not going to kill you. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's not going to shut your system down in the way people think it will.
Yeah.
But it's that horrendous that you just want to stop feeling that way. Yeah. So of course, you have more and you have more, and it just goes this continuous thing, and it becomes. It's not even about that. Almost not about that high anymore that you've described, of that feeling of isolation and that euphoric feeling. It's just want to stop feeling like shit.
But here's the thing with that though. Yeah, as soon as I come to the realization that I'm rattling, I also come to the realization I'm screwed.
Yeah, okay.
So then the internal battle started as soon as I became an addict of how am I going to stop? So then what I would do deliberately is cold turkey.
Yeah.
I deliberately put myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cold turkey. Then I found out about it. You sweat it out and all the rest of it. And, you go through the process. So I started that. I began year after year torturing myself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I remember at the time, my daughter was, I'm going to do it for my daughter. I'm going to do it for this reason. I'm going to do it for that reason. And no matter how many times I tried to cold turkey, sometimes with the methadone, sometimes with the sleepers, sometimes with the diazepam, and with the temazepam. Each time I do it, I'd last a day, two, and then I'd just crumble again.
Yeah.
It was, and I just tortured myself. And then when my father found out, And by this time, I was taken to Pakistan. This was just before I was taken to Pakistan, and me and Robbie talked about this, about the arranged marriage.
Yeah, talk to him about this arranged marriage then, because obviously, from what I understand, that was a big catalyst in terms of
Massive.
Terms of where this addiction went. Was this a case of like your dad was just so fed up with the way he was behaving, the way he was acting? It's like, right, I'm gonna sort this out. You're gonna get married. Did he think it was gonna be like this fix that would just sort all your problems out?
But the thing was, at the time, I was on heroin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was on the the lesser drugs, amphetamine and pills and weed and whatnot and kind of thing. So he, in his wisdom, thought, I know what I'll do. I'll take him over, get him married, get him settled down. So, I have to talk about this, and some of my family members might not agree with me, and I need to talk about this because there's no blame game here, and I just want to emphasize, my father is my hero. You know what I mean? He is the greatest man that I've ever known.
See, that's bizarre to me.
Yeah.
That is bizarre to me that you can say that after everything he's done to you, though.
No, but here's the thing, though. He taught me something. He taught me how to live life on life's terms. He taught me to be upright. He taught me to be strong-minded. He taught me because I saw him. I idolized him. I idolized him.
Yeah.
And when he talked, he fascinated me. I wouldn't understand what freaking hell he's talking about, but I was mesmerized of the words that were coming out. Everything kind of made sense, but not to my head, but it looked and sounded good.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It does. It does and it doesn't. I think it obviously. I completely get it because he's your dad, and I think you spoke quite highly of him at the beginning and said, look, he did the best that he could. Yeah. Do you know? But I also think, and again, not making excuses for your dad's behaviour towards you, but he's also a product of his environment and what happened to him.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So I can see why you'd be forgiving to him if you have the understanding of he did this to me because it likely happened to him,
but
it was how he was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Can I just quickly talk about that? Yeah. So his father died when he was 17, 18. He was married to my mum. Yeah, and what my mum's brother did is take my dad's sister.
Okay, yeah.
That, at the time, 50 years ago, in Pakistan, was like committing suicide.
Wow.
And it broke our two families apart.
Okay. Yeah.
My dad felt compelled and had no other choice but to leave my mum.
Yeah.
And she begged him.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was three of us, three brothers. But he says, look, they've took one of ours.
Yeah.
How can I keep you?
Okay. Yeah.
So it was a kind of, the honour thing that kind of kicked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now this man, this 18, 19-year-old man, has just, and at the same time, he's left with the burden to look after his siblings.
Yeah.
And there was about 6 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just recently, before he passed away, I was sat down and he was quite ill, and I used to rub him with cream and my sister was on the phone and she was at the doctor's and she said, Dad, what cream is it? And he pointed towards me. He went, what cream is it? I panicked because of my trauma.
Yeah.
It was how he dealt with me. And I went, what freaking cream? What? He goes, the freaking cream, because he was on the phone kind of thing, and that triggered something off. Yeah. Then it hit me, shit.
Yeah.
Then I sat down to him and I said, you know what? I've been getting therapy for this.
Yeah.
I said, you have traumatized me.
Yeah.
To the point now, I go on the defensive. Anyone talks to me in a funny way, what did he say? Fucking come on then.
Yeah. Confrontation.
Confrontation.
Instantly,
because I was, the way you treated me, and you battered me, I have become this person. And then it kind of dawned on me. And when I said I'm getting therapy of you, he sunk. I thought, shit. And I went upstairs, I did my prayers, the 5 times of prayers. And I come back down and he went, all my life, all I've ever done is try to support you. And I'm your father. And he was absolutely heartbroken.
So he didn't even realise how bad he'd sort of messed you up.
No, but here's the thing to that. Look what I did. I said, let me tell you a story. that there was a man. Then I gave his story to him. Oh, God. I turned it. To no, Taz, be the better man here. Then I saw his story. Then I played his story back to him through my mouth. That's when he realised. That's the first time I saw a father look at his son in them loving eyes. I said, here was a man who went through this, didn't know which way to turn, has landed in an alien country, yeah, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and the only way he can regulate his emotion is through anger. I said, what is that man going through? And then he realised I was talking about him. You know what I mean? And that was the turning point in our relationship. And it was only just recently before he passed away. But you know what? He's seen me for who I was. He saw my potential. He saw me destroy myself over and over again. He tried to put me in rehabs. I was in rehabs twice, 3 times in Pakistan. He helped me. Yeah. And he knew deep down this decency inside this person. And he never gave up on me. And everyone else gave up on me. The way he did it may not be, or could be questionable, you know, to say the least kind of thing. But his intentions were pure and honourable. And I can't take that away from him. No matter how I feel. Yeah. And no matter what people say. Kind of thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do, yeah, I do get it, yeah. It's obviously, there's a clash of cultures as well in this sense as well. Like, I mean, this is why we have these podcasts, these are why we have these conversations. Everything you're saying to me, it makes sense, but I'll never fully understand it.
No.
But to you, you will, because this is your life and this is your culture. Yeah. And that's why it's interesting to hear.
Don't get me wrong.
I think, honestly, if you was a white British lad telling a similar story about the abuse that you went through as a child, I guarantee you wouldn't be speaking about your father with any positivity. You just wouldn't. And I think that's maybe a big cultural difference between the two.
So yeah, you know, there is a sense of that. You're right. I just want to tell you the end story about my father.
Yeah, go.
So he developed stage 4 cancer. So, you know, every time I was in jail, he would big me up. My sister's my sin. You know, him, he's a legend. That. This is what he would say. When I'd be in front of him, it'd be down my throat. Yeah. My siblings, my sisters and my brothers said, he idolises you. Yeah. But he couldn't tell me. Yeah. I remember.
And is that a proud man-to-man thing that he just couldn't do?
Couldn't.
Wow.
He couldn't admit it. Because every time I saw him, he saw his own reflection. Okay. Yeah. And every time he saw me, and it was vice versa. Yeah. I remember the last time I came out of jail about 4 years ago, and he was quite ill. And he was almost like that. And when I come out, I looked at him. And when I looked at him into his eyes, he looked at me. Within a matter of days, he was upright. My sister said, what have you done to him? Yeah. He's been on tablets, he's done this, you know what I mean? But the thing is, when he developed stage 4 cancer on his deathbed, he gathered my siblings, and I've got it recorded. Yeah. He said, this is what I wanted from him.
All your life.
All my life. Yeah. And he gave it me to, and he didn't give it to me, it was abundant. He said, this guy, he says, this guy is that guy where he's reached in his life right now, no man could achieve that. Yeah. What he has done for his family, no man could have done. Yeah. You are here to my siblings because of this man. I have been dancing, these were his words, I have been dancing on him because I knew I had a brave son, so I was relaxed. And oh my God, I was crying my eyes out. Yeah,
I get it.
All I wanted was, I used to say to him, I said, why don't you ever tap me on the back, Dad? You know what I mean? Why don't you,
well done.
Well done. Why? This was as I was growing up. You know what his answer was? He goes, if I ever tap you on the back, you'll end up freaking killing someone. In the sense that you'd be so fully charged, You know what I mean? That you do anything. I had that side to me.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so it's almost like, I guess in some way, trying to hold you back in a little
This
way.
is what it did.
Yeah.
He had his hand out.
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm here.
Yeah.
And many times I was in conflict with him. Well, look what they're doing. Just stay back. You don't need it yet. You know what I mean? And I remember when I'd come home and he'd say, "Where the hell have you been?" It took me 30 years to understand his language. What he was actually saying, "Where are you, son?
Yeah.
I've missed you. Sit down." I remember him towards the end, I was eating. I was just about to eat. And he said something, and out of disgust or whatever was going, I dropped it, and I walked off. I walked it back to Darwin. I was that pissed off. Yeah, he was on the phone. Where have you gone? What have you done that for? I thought, you know what? I said, nothing. No, just, me. As I get like that, he goes, fucking on. There's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
We had that relationship. You know what I mean? And
he was worried about you without directly telling you, "I'm worried about you."
Yes, he couldn't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to play this role of the strong man because he saw that in me. And you know what I mean? And every time I got into a fight, and you know what? He was proud. Not that it's a thing, but
that he's proud that you're fighting, but he's proud that you're standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, he would have seen some of the stuff you went through as a kid.
Yeah.
The stuff that we've already talked about, the stuff you've experienced, he'd have seen that.
100%.
I suppose maybe one of his fears was you growing up to be, I don't know, a bit of a bitch sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? He wanted you to be strong and wanted you to look after yourself.
Yeah,
I get it. I mean, obviously, I just want to go back to the arranged marriage thing because obviously that seemed like a massive catalyst for it. Because you mentioned you've got a daughter. How many children do you have?
5 children.
You got 5 children
and grandkids as
from
well.
the arranged marriage.
From the arranged marriage.
Okay, talk to me about this then.
Wow, I'm 18 years old. Yeah, I'm all over the freaking show. I was working with my dad at a takeaway, and I says, look, I need a break. My wages used to go to him.
Yeah.
He says, you know what? Because that was the thing, kind of thing. We give our wages to our fathers, and he'd do what's best for us and whatnot, and all the rest of it. And I said, look, I need an holiday. He said, you want to go for an holiday? You go to Pakistan and get married. I'm thinking in the back of my head, this is not going to happen. For me, it's an holiday. Yeah, so I'm over now with him. He's what he's done. He's bought me a Kawasaki 125. I'm chilling. I'm loving it, and all the rest of it.
Feels like a holiday so far.
So far so good, kind of thing. All of a sudden, he's come back one evening, and he says, "Oh, by the way, I found your wife, and you are getting married on a particular day." What? Married? What are you going on about? I said, "Who is she?" And I've chosen her. She's perfect for you, and you're getting married. I said, well, if you've chosen her, why don't you marry her?
Yeah.
And so this is what he did. Now, this is what he did. For whatever his reasons, and he says, look, and he did have a point. I do understand, but it was wrong. I don't agree with it. He came to me and he says, you know what? He says, if you do this now, if you don't do this, my brother's out there, have a lot of respect for me. I'm like a father figure to him, Not to mention the family that we've gave our word to, You're going to ruin me.
Yeah.
It left me with them thoughts. I thought, shit, I can't do this to him.
Yeah.
I can't do it to him. You know what?
Being guilt tripped almost, aren't you?
It was. It was a massive guilt trip. And I thought, you know what? Shit, Taz, you know what? You're going to go through this. The first time I saw my wife was when she was sat next to me, getting married. And you know what I mean? I had high expectations. I looked at her, I thought, what the fuck have they done to me?
That's awful.
I swear to God, I am not lying to you. And she's the mother of my children. And I'll tell you another thing about her as well. A great woman.
Yeah.
Great woman. I could not ask for a better mother.
And that's what your dad would have looked for. He's not necessarily looking for a 10 out of 10 page 3 model for you, is he? He's looking out for a good woman who's going to be a good mother of his children.
But the thing was, I rebelled against it. And I looked at her and thought, what the fuck have they done here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was my turning point. That was that kind of I spiraled out of control.
Because I think for me, a lot of what I get from this story is a lack of control. A lack of control over your own
In what
life
sense?
culturally, a lack of control over
On my
yourself.
part?
In general, you just...
I had no control.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, no
Just
control
complete lack of
whatsoever.
control
No,
in terms
no.
of the life you've
Yeah,
lived,
no.
even up to that
No,
point, and then
no. None
more
whatsoever.
so because you're in an arranged marriage.
Yeah, and then obviously she come over and whatnot, and one thing led to another. For the first child, and whatnot, you know what I mean? We bought a house, and then it started. I thought, shit, I can't do this. So what did I do? Turn to the drugs. I turned to the drugs. I turned to the heroin, and the thing, I was in conflict. The thing was, which is extremely important to me, and it needs to be heard, is I don't know how many times I wanted to walk out.
Yeah.
The only thing that kept stopping me was my own childhood. I thought, shit, look what you went through as a child. No mother. I used to look at people's mother and I used to think, is this how a mother is going to be? Is this what a mother is like? They should dream and fantasize about a mother figure. And I thought, if I walk away now, by that time there were two little boys, grown fine men now, you know what I mean? And one of them's actually fighting on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm going to be in his corner. And I used to look at them and think, I can't put them through what I went through. It's like history repeating itself.
That's it, yeah. Kind of what happened to your dad from his dad and so forth. Yeah.
I had to break the mold, so what I did, I suffered. You know what? I thought I'd take it. And then, before you know it, there was 5 kids. By this time, I was a freaking mess. A complete emotional wreck. You know what I mean? A walking time bomb. You say, look at me in a funny way. I remember I was walking on the street once and some guy looked at me. So, what the fuck are you looking at? We ended up fighting in the middle of the street, and afterwards, he's a good friend of mine, by the way, a Scottish fella called Johnny. He went, what the fuck are we fighting for? I said, I ain't got a fucking clue, mate. That's how volatile my head became. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what I went through, and it was, wow. And so, I couldn't do that to him.
How many boys do you have?
I have 3 boys.
How does your relationship with your boys compare to the relationship that you had with your dad?
Here's the thing with that. So when my kids were growing up, I thought, you know what? I'm never going to do what my dad did. Guess what I did?
Same thing.
Exactly the same thing. I remember once hitting my son. I think it was about 14, 15. And there's another copy of me. He wouldn't cry. I thought he's fucking taking a little pace. Crap. I went upstairs and I took his top off and he had bruises. And then it hit me. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You've turned into your dad.
Yeah.
And I remember the kids coming home from school and saying, Dad, look, I got to see you and I got to be... And I said, come here, give us a hug. Because I never got it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so I tried the best I could, but when I saw that what I had become, I thought, never again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that to him again. Because it's doing exactly the same thing.
That's it, yeah.
But my son, where they are now, we're men. And what I couldn't have with my dad, my sons have with me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And they're getting it at an early age. You got it from your dad on his deathbed sort of thing. Do you know
and
what
I'm
I mean?
giving it him now.
You're giving it to him now.
I'm saying, you know what? I'm your best mate. I'm your best mate. And a lot of people actually, some of the things that they've done, a lot of people don't agree with. And the thing is with me, okay, damage limitation. If they do something wrong now, as a father, I can advise them because they're grown men. I can't get involved.
Yeah.
They are living their own lives and they need to learn themselves. Do you understand? I can't get a bloody bat and start battering them and shouting at them, and that doesn't work. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
How's it going to work for my sons? How is it? So, yeah.
So you've experienced prison.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. You mentioned it, being in and out of prison.
Yeah.
That sort of impact that has on your family.
Oh, it's horrible.
Talk me through it.
So in the beginning, I didn't know, as far as I was concerned, I was playing the victim here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Screw the family. I didn't know. I didn't understand the concept of them going through what they're going through while I'm in jail, kind of thing. It was I'm back in prison and feeling sorry for myself. I need to pick myself up and blah 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 and all the rest of it. not realizing that they're going through a prison sentence in itself.
Yeah, and I think addiction makes you very selfish, doesn't it? Really,
Yeah,
you can't really see outwards.
No.
It's just this constantly looking inwards that you do.
Poor me.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, poor me, and and my daughter did mention it. And she says, "Poor you. This is what you've been doing." I said, and she was right. This is what I'd been doing for years.
Yeah.
Look at me. You don't know what I went through. And all that crap.
Not thinking about what they went through.
Yeah, and then she said it not long ago. She said, "Do you know how painful it was?" She's done psychology now, and there's a lot going on here right now. Because of what happened, I need to go back to this, and I get back to the prison as well, and it all kind of fit into the jigsaw kind of thing. And so while that was going on, my father got remarried, and he had six daughters.
Okay.
He was desperate for a son. From the first one, he tried and tried and tried, and each time it was a girl. And I started giggling after a while because I clicked onto it.
Yeah. And
I'd go hospital. In them days, you go to the phone box, ring the hospital up, and find out. Didn't even go to the freaking hospital. Yeah. So I'd come back on the fourth child, knowing to be pissed off. Oh, congratulations, the girl. You went, you fucking prick, girl. I loved it. But it was almost comical because I was.
By the sixth time, you're like, "Oh fuck!" You think someone wanted him up, doesn't it?
It was brilliant, honest to God. And he went, "You fucking, oh God!" It was just looking at his face was just, it was brilliant. It was priceless. You know what I mean? And my gran did say, "God rest her soul." She went, "Manzua, you're not gonna have any sons. Sons, you've got 3 sons." And it was kind of poetic, to be honest with you. And so here's the thing now. These 6 girls are growing up, my sisters. What am I thinking? My childhood, why my mum left me. Because of 2 people doing a dirty. So what have I gone and done? I became this overprotective fucking psychopath. If I catch you with anyone, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
So I would smoke weed in the middle of the night and if a car pulled up with the lads in it, what the fuck are you doing around here? Get around your own end. I became overprotective, and I panicked. And this went on for a while, and they were terrified of me. They were terrified of me, and I would have done it. I was that far gone, I would have done it. And I thank God that I didn't do something that stupid. That would have been, I'd been regretting for the rest of my life. Yeah. But I didn't understand what was going on with me. I was scared. I thought, no, 6? I'm loved with 6. Yeah. What the fuck am I supposed to look after these? It's almost talking to God kind of thing. So then I started this, okay, overprotective. And how many times have I gone into town centres and they've gone out of the house with the scarves on, and they've gone into town, took the scarves off. The teenagers, they were spreading their wings. Of course they're gonna do that. Yeah. And as soon as I seen it, get home. You better. At one point, my dad was saying, "Stop doing fucking dad. Leave that to me." You know what I mean? And so I went through that phase. But when my own daughter come about, I thought, shit, I can't act like this. She'll hate me. So I had to change. And I had to become this other person. I had to become this father. And I had my kind of things. Anyway, getting back to the jail and whatnot. And so the jail was, honest to God, to be honest with you, it's made me the person I am today. Because every time I went into jail, I got better. Yeah. I got better. I got stronger emotionally, physically. You know what I mean? And I became the person that I've always wanted to be. I won't touch drugs. Yeah. Maybe the first few times I went in, on remand day, maybe a spliff here and there. Yeah. But it was just a case of because the lads are doing it kind of thing. Yeah. When I got my big sentences, 4 and a 4, I think 7 years I did back to back with a period of 6 months free time. I became strong. And so my prayers and my training, focused. One thing I couldn't understand. Why do I go back out? Yeah. And become this drug addict again? And as soon as I come back in jail, and the periods got shorter and shorter and shorter. I'd have more long time inside, and I'd hit rock bottom very, very quickly, very, very quickly. But there was a pattern developing, and one day it hit me. I've got to leave the mother of my children. She was the trigger.
Okay, yeah.
She was the trigger.
Yeah.
And it almost, it was, oh God. I thought, shit. Every time I'm in jail, I'm okay. If I am that way inclined, there's drugs in jail.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So what's happening when you're outside of jail?
What is? And I was questioning myself on what was behind this, and then it hit me. I've got to break the umbilical cord of this arranged marriage if I want peace in my life.
And was it because of her as an individual? Was it anything she was doing, or was it just the fact that, as we've said earlier on, that lack of control and being forced into that marriage, the resentment that had just built up from that?
That as well, but more so culture.
Okay, yeah.
It was culture, because she was from a different world.
So she was very much still in the sort of Muslim Pakistani world of cultures. And,
she still is.
And you're very
and I'm
westernised.
Westernised,
yeah.
and have a little bit of that side as well. So, we're always in conflict. Always in conflict. There were moments which were beautiful, no doubt. I was married for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So something was there,
obviously. Yeah.
Of course it was. But for the most part, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. There was a few times when I clouted her. That was wrong. If someone did that to my daughter, I'd fucking rip his head off. I'd rip his head off. Somebody posed the question, and I need to get this out today, because somebody posed a question about Muslims that we're allowed to marry more than one wife kind of thing. And somebody said to me, I know I mentioned no names, what if it was your daughter? I'm not answered that person, but I'm going to answer it today on the podcast. Our faith allows it. And if it was my daughter today, as long as you can support both wives, and treat them equally, then yes, of course it's allowed. Even if it's my daughter, because for me it's faith. That's the bottom line. Do you know what I mean? It's how we interpret it, kind of messes everything up kind of thing. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's a totally different...
No, I get it though. Yeah. It's like, say, these are the things we're exploring today. Those sort of cultural differences, aren't we, really? Do you know? And again, I suppose when people are asking you those questions, it's because from their culture, it is very much one woman.
But this is what we do as British, Muslim, subcontinent, India, where we come from, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis and Indians, Muslim. What do? We mix culture with religion. And 9 times out of 10, it's culture that always gets it wrong.
Okay, yeah.
And we use it as religion.
Yeah.
Our religion, Islam, does not allow forced marriages.
Okay, yeah. But
it condemns it.
Yeah.
It actually condemns it. And these are the things I'm learning, or I've learnt. But culture, you're getting married to... And, it's not allowed. Islamically, it's not allowed. So that I kind of, and getting back to jail, you know what I mean? I became this guy, and, I honest to God, some of the best days of my freaking life in jail. I'm not going to lie to you, because I did that.
Well, you found recovery in jail, didn't you?
I found recovery in jail.
Talk me through that then. Finding recovery in prison, and how did it? Again, like you said, you split the umbilical cord, so to speak, from the wife. How did that look? Getting recovery in jail and then continuing the abstinence in the community.
So I started to learn in jail. I started learning about my addiction. I started attending groups, and I was involved with a drug team, Spectrum at the time. Really, really beautiful people, and I needed to get better, so I was exploring everything, and when this was put towards me, kind of thing, you know what I mean? I thought, oh wow, is this what's going on with me? Okay, let's have a bit of this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because for me, I need it. I need to get better, whichever way I can. And so that kind of led me to, exploring the NA and then the 12-step program and all the, the therapeutic side and the cognitive, the group work that they did. Before long, I became a mentor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was really, really enjoying it kind of thing because it was unraveling me. And by unraveling,
cathartic experience.
Yeah,
of
course. And I thought, wow, this is, and about 10 years ago, I thought, you know what, I could do this. I've seen other people in recovery, and they are where I am today, and I'd look at them, and think, you know what, if he's done it or if she's done it, why can't I do it? So that was the kind of drive, kind of thing, for me, you know what I mean, and. It's funny because one of my friends, Mr. Jackson, lovely man, he says, you know what, you've got a lot to give, but you need to be educated on recovery and what it means kind of thing. So I went through the whole kind of process. I did the 12-step program. I don't attend any meetings as regularly as I should. Kind of thing is that, and I'm not going to preach about it kind of thing, or some people swear it as gospel, kind of thing. For me, it's, I found other ways of channeling it kind of thing, but I do totally understand and appreciate it because it works for people kind of thing.
I think one of the things I've learned from doing this series is recovery isn't just going to meetings.
No.
It's about the practice that you put into it. So regardless whether you're going to meetings regular or not, as long as what you're putting, that the things that you learn into practice, then that's enough. And I think for me, if I was in a similar position, it'd be just knowing that safety net is there, that if I need it, if I do need the meeting, if I do need to talk to other people in recovery, it's there when I need it. And 100%. I think that would be my attitude towards it.
And that's exactly my attitude. Yeah, exactly my attitude. I don't say, no, it's not for me. No, it's another tool as far as I'm concerned. And anything for recovery is a positive and is a good thing. I'm never going to knock it, no matter what it is. Me being here today talking to you, you know what I mean, is part of that recovery.
Absolutely, this is it.
Yeah.
But in terms of, obviously getting clean in the prison, was there a moment, like the light bulb moment of, right, I've got to do it now?
Yeah.
Or was it, because to me it kind of sounds like a gradual thing that
it was a gradual thing. It was
that's good to hear that.
Yeah, it was
some people have that.
No,
fuck, I've got to do it now. Do you know?
No. It was a gradual thing, and it kind of creeped up on me, kind of thing. And the work that I'm doing right now, kind of, I was looking back. I think, you know what, this is me. So I couldn't figure out what's the purpose of me going through what I've gone through. What was it all about?
Yeah.
Why did I go through freaking hell? And I thought, that's what it is. It's for you to give it back. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't, you wasn't meant to own this. You had to go through that to pass a message on. I believe that. I genuinely believe that. And I, and for me, it's, I used to ask myself, why are you, this was a constant question to God, why are you putting me through this when I'll be rattling or in the gutter? What have I done that's so horrendous in life, or what am I going to do that is so horrendous in life that you're putting me through this? That was a question. I get it now. Because for me here to talk today about recovery, about, look, there is a way out. And there is hope. And that my dad used to say to me, he said, two things will happen to you. Either you'll be dead or you'll spend the rest of your life in jail. I'm here. And I'm not in jail. So someone's working.
There was a third option there that
Maybe,
Dad didn't tell you.
So this is the thing with my dad as well. He was very clever. Very, very clever. He'd say, you can't do this.
Yeah, the old reverse psychology.
Exactly.
Now you're too weak to do that.
I'd go out and fucking do it. You know what I mean? So it kind of worked. You know what I mean? And I've got to tell the world, my dad, what a fucking legend. Honest to God, he was a legend. He was a legend. What a man. Honest to God, he's put me on a pedestal that nothing and no one can take me off. And I've been waiting for that for the God knows how long. Yeah, that's where I am.
I get it. Yeah. I think now that you're in recovery, so obviously there's a lot of personal transformation that you've gone through over this journey. So now, how do you see yourself as not just as a man, But as a Muslim and as someone who has lived through
What a beautiful
addiction
question.
and violence.
What a beautiful. I'm getting my hairs are standing up, and this is the. I'm gonna say this to you, so, Matt. This is why I'm here. Everything has come full circle.
Yeah.
Everything. My religion, my recovery, my culture, my upbringing, everything has come, and I've got it in my hand. That's my power.
Yeah.
And I will use it to the best of my abilities to each and every one. You know what I mean? God, you know what I mean? I'm loaded.
Yeah.
I'm fully loaded. And there's nothing that you can put towards me that I can say, you know what? No, mate. Let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. Because when you've been through that much in life, nothing's going to deter you.
No.
No matter who comes in, sits in front of you and says, oh, blah, 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 this, that. No, mate, no. Compassion, kindness, understanding where they are and where they're going, not being big-headed, humility. These are the things that I've kind of lost.
No. You bang on the money, really. It's exactly it. I mean, realistically, I suppose now, because there will be people, maybe from that culture that don't necessarily have someone that they can look at and talk to and understand. What message would you send to young Muslim men who are struggling with addiction or who are as angry as you once were?
Honestly, I don't want to. I've got a message for them, but I don't want to limit myself.
I get that, yeah.
To just Muslim young men and women. I want to reach out to the rest of the whole world.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Do you get me? It's not just about Muslim men, young. It's about anybody and everybody who is going through hell, and going through addiction. And the message is simple. Keep fighting.
Yeah.
Don't give up. You will find your calling. You will find your peace. You will find that moment. Do not give up, because I know many friends, many associates, should I say, who have OD'd, who have died. You know what I mean? I've OD'd on several occasions, and I was brought back, kind of thing.
And you think there was a purpose to that?
And there was a purpose to that. You know what I mean? So please, my message is please do not give up. And sometimes there's no other option. You feel as though there's no other option, but there's always a way. I won't be here talking to you today if there wasn't hope, because I was that person who, I went out once. I became so desperate. I bought a quarter of heroin. I said, I'm going to inject myself. I'm going to die today. And I was going to do it. Lo and behold, I couldn't find a needle that day. I went everywhere. Could not. In the end, I had to freaking put it on the foil.
But there was a reason why you couldn't find the needle that day.
Yeah, there was a reason why I couldn't find the needle. I was going to do it that day. Other days, I've took overdoses with pills and whatnot because I'd had enough. I give up that many times. Every time I fell, I give up. And I've fallen over 1,000 times. I'm no big man. In reality, I crumbled at every stage. You know what I mean? And I'll own up to that. What people might say, oh, you're this and that. No, mate. I failed miserably every time.
Yeah, people only often see the success, don't they? They don't see the failure behind what got to the success.
So, it's
I appreciate that, Taz, and thank you for coming on the Believe in People podcast. I like to end all my podcasts with a series of 10 random questions, completely irrelevant to anything that we've spoken about so far. And my first question is, what is your favourite word?
Peace.
Least favourite word?
Hate.
Sound or noise do you love?
Rain.
Sound or noise do you hate?
Yapping.
What's your favourite curse word?
Curse word?
Yeah, swear word. You dropped a few today.
I don't know. I've got quite a few, actually.
Can you pick one?
Pick one. You know what? Oh. Piss off.
It's universal, isn't it? It's exactly what it means, isn't it?
Yeah, just do one.
If you could do any job in the world, what would it be?
This, what I'm doing right now.
You don't know. That's brilliant. What's the worst job you can imagine doing?
Oh, God. Living a 9-to-5 mundane robotic job, with no purpose and no freaking end, that majority of the world are doing. No freaking chance. You keep that.
Tell me something that excites you.
Life, every day, getting up.
Tell me something that doesn't excite you.
Boring people.
And then lastly, obviously a bit of a different one for you, but we often ask, once you die, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Son, well done. Yeah. You did your bit.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining me on Believe in People, Taz. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you've enjoyed this episode of the Believe in People podcast, we'd love for you to share it with others who might find it meaningful. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and leaving a review will help us reach more people and continue challenging stigma around addiction and recovery. For additional resources, insights and updates, explore the links in this episode description. And to learn more about our mission and hear more incredible stories, you can visit us directly at believeinpeoplepodcast.com.